Life Track with Chuck Swindoll is a presentation of Insight for Living Canada.
We are just so ornery and stubborn. It's sort of the American way. It's the reason many came west. It's sort of built into our independent spirit to make it on our own, to decide for ourselves, to prove, if not to anybody else, at least to ourselves, we can do it. And that's not the pilgrim life. The pilgrim life is a life of submission, and that works against our nature. Well, that cuts cross grain in our day of unions and strikes and determination to go my way. And this is very unpopular teaching. You have a boss, submit to your boss or quit. Submit. Make the thing work or get out. Submit. In the realm of the home, in the same way, wives, be submissive to your husbands. It works. And husbands, it is marvelous if you are fun to submit to, if you are one that listens closely to God. There is a submitting husband to the Lord, and there is a very cooperative wife who says, I trust my husband, I'll work alongside him, and I'll believe in him. I was talking with a young couple just 2 days ago. He's a dentist. I would say he's 35, 40 years old. He and his wife standing side by side at the front of a meeting where people were there to think about their plans for their future, and he said some nice things, and then he referred to his own life. He said, I'm thinking about a career change. I said, really? He said, yeah, I'm thinking seriously about ministry. I said, really? Have you had any training at all? He said, no, not formally. I'd have to go back to school. I'd like to have your suggestion for seminary and what you think would be best for me. And I said, well, let's talk for a few minutes, and we did. Then I looked at him and I said, my counsel is if you could be happy doing anything else, do that. Don't just jump into ministry because it seems exciting and all of that. And he said, and the next day I talked to him, he said, that really made me think through the night because I am very fulfilled in dentistry. And I find a lot of satisfaction in it. He says, it's really making me think. And then I had the idea to look at his wife. And I looked right into her eyes, beautiful lady standing there by her husband. They had their arms around each other, and I said, and how do you feel about this? She had a terrific answer. She said, Chuck, when I married this man, I really gave myself to this marriage. And I determined that this man who is walking with God was worth working alongside of. And however God leads him, I'm a part of that plan. And I went a little further and I said, well, how do you feel about going into ministry? She says, I'll tell you, if he's convinced, I'm convinced. That there is some kind of spirit in that. And she's no dummy. She's no vanilla shadow standing there saying, whatever he wants is It's not that. People have this idea, this beaten down kind of doormat type woman that's pictured here. That's not that woman. I mean, there's vitality, there's zeal, there's fun in her life. There's direction, and she said, I am confident God's working in him. I wouldn't think of going some other direction. It's a beautiful kind of give and take.
We live in a world that insists on having its own way. Our attitude toward authority is to question it, and rebellion runs deep. Submission, on the other hand, is a voluntary willingness to be harmonious and humble, to not fight back or return evil for evil or insult for insult. Anyone can rebel. It comes so easily to us. But it takes great strength of character to be humble and live in submission to others. This is Steve Johnson of Insight for Living Canada. Listen to more of Chuck Swindoll's Life Track messages at lifetrack.ca. That's lifetrack.ca. Life Track, where life and truth meet.
The preceding Life Track presentation was brought to you by Insight for Living Canada. The original message, Hope Beyond Misery, Lasting Lessons, was copyrighted in 1989 and this LifeTrack sound recording was copyrighted in 2014 by Charles R. Swindoll Incorporated. All rights are reserved worldwide.